Well, we're told 11 members of the family were home at the time of the fire. A young mom, her 4-month-old daughter, and her little brother, just 4 years old, were not able to make it out. Now, there's still a lot of damage left here at the scene of the fire, a lot of debris on the ground. But among all this, a small memorial to honor the lives lost here. On this block, the remnants of a home tell part of the story. Children's toys strewn about the yard next to charred pieces of furniture. Just hours earlier,
flames coming from the windows and flames from floor to ceiling on both stories of the house.
A hectic scene as even a neighbor attempted to help.
I tried to get in the side door over here with my fire extinguisher, and the door blew off at me and flames shot out at me.
He says he could hear yelling and children screaming for their parents.
It wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
One family member grabbing a ladder to get some relatives to safety. But his wife, 18-year-old Raven Tedder, their 4-month-old daughter Zoe, and Raven's 4-year-old brother Shiloh Stewart died in the fire.
It's tragic for this family, and the guys are, the fire department taking it pretty hard because they did the best they could, and it was still not the outcome you want.
We will see this community pull together. We'll do what needs to be done to help the family.
By sunset, this bin was set up at Kroger, just blocks away from the fire scene and in the same plaza where Raven Tedder worked. Banks and businesses offering to collect money, clothing, and toiletries for the fire survivors.
Everybody's involved. It didn't take much of anything for everyone to spring into action, not only to spread the word, but also to donate.
Small acts trying to bring healing to a large family that lost so much so fast.
When tragedy happens and there's families in need, we all reach out.
And the Indiana State Fire Marshal is expected to be back out here tomorrow as they try to figure out what started the fire, the cause here. What we do know at this point is that the family was using space heaters and that the gas was turned off to the home. Reporting in Brazil tonight, I'm Gabby Gonzalez, Fox 59 News. We now know these two kids were stabbed multiple times in the neck. Their mother, Brandy Worley, telling deputies that she did this because her husband was divorcing her and she did not want him to take the children. Some very disturbing details in this probable cause. Worley called 911 early Thursday morning and said, quote, "I stabbed myself and killed my 2 children. A deputy arrived at the home to find Worley sitting on her living room couch. 7-year-old Tyler and 3-year-old Charlie were dead in Charlie's room, their bodies partially covered with blankets. Deputies say when asked why she did this, Worley said, "I did not want him taking them, so I stabbed them." She also said, quote, "I just wanted to die with them." During the murders, the children's father was sleeping in the basement. He said he was woken up by screams from his mother-in-law. When he came upstairs, Worley said, "Now you can't take the kids from me." And court documents released to us late this afternoon provide some insight into what was happening in the Worley family before Brandy called police and made that shocking confession here. And also tonight, their community is coming together to mourn the loss of these 2 children.
It'll change the town. I don't think it'll be the same experiencing something like this.
A scene now etched in the minds of Darlington residents. Tyler and Charlie Worley murdered inside this house. Police say the mother, Brandy Worley, called 911 early Thursday morning, notifying dispatchers she'd killed her kids and stabbed herself in the neck.
Everybody is affected. Just trying to help people, take a breath and do what they need to do to heal and move forward in some way, which is about impossible, at least the first few days.
Faith leaders joining forces to provide support to all those grieving.
Just to feel a sense of community, support, because it's dark and a lot of people are just shocked and grieving, and so it's not good to do that alone.
So many still filled with questions like how could this mother take her children's lives? Licensed mental health professional Kimball Richardson says it's tough to spot warning signs when it comes to these types of situations.
What we know from history, from other cases, is that even if things looked normal, perfect, whatever on the outside, oftentimes we'll find that there was an issue or a multitude of issues brewing within the family.
Court documents show the children's father, Jason Worley, filed for divorce Wednesday, just one day before the children were killed.
That probably when people put the pieces of this puzzle together over the next few days, we're going to find out that this wasn't something that just snapped. It's probably something else.
And that special prayer service is happening at 7 p.m. at the Congregational Christian Church. We have much more information on our website. Reporting in Crawfordsville, I'm Gabby Gonzalez, Fox 59 News. Well, this was the cross that was removed from the top of the Christmas tree here in the town square. You can see right here that town residents have actually taken it upon themselves to add their own wooden crosses to this tree. And they've been out here tonight showing their disapproval for the town council's decision.
We stand with Knightstown. Keep the cross.
On this small town street,
Put the cross back up.
the chanting is accompanied by action.
Help yourselves.
People giving out free wooden crosses.
We've made over 300 now.
To those who support their cause.
I just want this cross to be back to represent Knightstown.
Dozens of people enduring the cold to voice their frustration.
We stand with Knightstown. We stand with Knightstown.
After the cross atop the town's Christmas tree was removed Monday afternoon.
It just made me sick to my stomach, literally sick to my stomach when I come in and seen that the cross was down, seen that the cross was gone, because they need to take a stand.
The decision comes after a lawsuit was filed by the ACLU on behalf of Knightstown resident Joe Tompkins. The suit states the religious symbol should not be displayed on town property. The town council releasing this statement Monday, saying they did not think they could win the case brought by the ACLU and deal with the cost of the legal battle.
One man shouldn't dictate how the rest of us express our religious freedoms. We have that freedom under the First Amendment.
Where's my rights to see that cross on top of the tree when I go down by here?
We reached out to the man at the center of the suit for his reaction. He hasn't responded since we've learned the cross would be removed. But last week, he told us this case is about the Constitution, specifically the First Amendment with regard to the establishment of religion.
That's a cold, cold heart that would do what he's doing to our town.
And on this Thursday at the next town council meeting, they plan to pass a resolution that will keep this cross off the Christmas tree for good. A lot of residents say they plan to attend that meeting to show their disapproval for that as well. Reporting in Knightstown, I'm Gabby Gonzalez. Back to you. The rounds health inspectors make to indie restaurants are supposed to keep businesses in check. But one restaurant ends up on the citations list over and over again for endangering the health of its patrons. So we return to the doors of Hibachi Grill and Supreme Buffet.
Is there a manager we could speak to
She's on
about the
vacation,
health file?
actually.
Who's the person in charge here today?
No one's really in charge.
So no one's overseeing the restaurant?
Not really.
No one willing to explain the long list of violations. This buffet was recently fined $1,600 for 14 critical violations. The inspector finding the floors, walls, and ceiling in a walk-in cooler there soiled with a, quote, mold-like substance. Stacked and supposedly clean plates by the buffet with food debris, ants crawling on the floor next to the Hibachi Grill, and a chef making sushi with his bare hands, just to name a few. The host didn't seem concerned with the violations.
Being the most fined is not a big deal.
Nope. I'm still going to have the customers come in and everything. A guy not wearing gloves, not a big deal. People are still going to eat it.
And ants on the wall?
On the wall?
Yeah, that's what is on these violations. Ants
You
on
can
the
find
wall
ant
by
on
the
wall,
grill.
Let me know, okay?
Do you want to show us that there aren't any
No,
ants?
'cause I don't have time.
Our hidden camera spotted dirty plates and silverware, servers eating while on the job, and people in the kitchen without gloves on. This comes just a few short months after hefty fines were doled out by the health department for things like mouse droppings inside the restaurant and a food handler spitting on the floor.
All these people are responsible for food safety, especially in a buffet situation.
The health department is attempting to spark change at this restaurant through fines. In less than a year, this place was slapped with fines of $700, $750, and $500.
And sometimes you can give citations and it won't matter to them, so we have to increase it to see what action level it's going to take to make sure that they realize that they cannot do something.
The health department has the ability to revoke a restaurant's license, but Kaufman says they prefer to work with the business before going to that extreme.
Actually, our inspectors went there for a full day, spending time with them, going over their procedures and everything like that, trying to make sure that they were serving safe food, doing our extra part to make sure that they were following the proper sanitation.
But if devoting additional resources to this problem spot doesn't work, more serious action could follow.
We can restrict the amount of food that they're doing if they can't keep up with the capacity that they're doing, and so that's something that we're working with the inspector on.
Inside this Markleville home,
hopefully I've got it turned up high enough.
a husband and wife are busy with the labor of love.
Don't want it to scorch on the bottom.
Filling, crimping, and baking pies for the Indiana State Fair for the 57th year. The two have been married for just as many.
Butter is better, that's right.
But this time around, Darl Collins is taking the lead.
I love to help her out, but I don't like the responsibility of living with the results if they're bad.
Many pointing out they're a couple cooking up inspiration.
Without him, I couldn't have made it this far this year, but we do it together. We feel that it's a teamwork.
A team tested since last summer after an infection landed Mary Alice in the hospital. Doctors making the seriousness of her condition clear.
She either will lose her organs and lose her life, or she will lose her fingers and her feet.
They opted for the latter and coped with the life-changing effects. Then just 2 months ago, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
We have lived the vows of the wedding.
That's for sure.
Still, Mary Alice refusing to allow that to put an end to her more than 5 decades-long baking career.
There's nothing too hard if you put your mind to it.
Now their baking routine starts with Darl putting on Mary Alice's prosthetic legs.
She's had drive since I've known her.
Followed by the two spending hours in the kitchen together.
It's something that being married for 57 years is something that you grow together and you do for each other.
And while Mary Alice adapts to the changes,
I cannot lift the pan with my hand. It's just too heavy.
Her husband is there to take over when the tasks become just too tough.
Darl, won't you come and stir this just a little bit?
The two still manage to find the joy.
This is taste testing.
In these simple moments, laughter giving Mary Alice the motivation to push through her limitations.
I tell myself, I can do it. I can do it. It's not going to get me completely down.
Unwilling to bake her last pie just yet.
I never thought he would go this far to try to kill me.
Margie Walford sits in her living room just over 24 hours after finding a homemade bomb outside her door.
I'm very lucky that I'm alive. My daughter could have lost her mom.
She says she arrived at her Muncie home to find a package waiting for her. Inside was something that appeared to be a jewelry box. She put it in her cab and drove to work.
And when I did finally open it just a little, is when it was the 2 pipes, and all I remember seeing was black tape and a battery.
Walford says that's when she realized this was a bomb. The bomb squad called out to her workplace, PDQ Taxi, to detonate it.
Why did I have to come to this? Why?
She tells me her ex-boyfriend, Lionel Mackey Jr., left her a threatening message the night before.
You never know who you're going to pick up. You might get your throat slashed.
He was arrested after police found supplies to make a bomb inside his house. This is Mackey soon after the arrest.
They're bull.
At the time, denying the allegations against him.
How am I framing you when the items were found in your home? And I haven't been there since I left in November.
Court documents now show Lackey told a detective, I blank did it because I'm a blank nutball.
He needs to be off the streets.
And in 2013, Mackey was charged and then convicted of stalking another woman he once dated. Court documents show he sent that woman messages threatening her life as well. He also has a criminal recklessness and involuntary manslaughter charge on his record. Fanchon?
Wow. All right,